Hey, once again, everybody. Welcome back to the series I'm Turning 30, where I, Mitch, talk about something that has made me who I am, something that's kind of affecting my day to day, or something that I'm interested in. And as you can see, actually, today I'm talking about something that's related to interests specifically, and that's passion. I'm also not necessarily passionate about passion itself, but I thought it would be an interesting topic to talk about because I've asked some people about just passion as a whole throughout my entire life. So this also doesn't just go into one form of passion that you might be thinking of. It's just passion as a whole about many different things and aspects of life. I also noticed a trend while I was deciding the topic for this week's video that my videos have kind of progressively gotten longer and longer each week. So I decided to try to choose something that would maybe cut down on editing time. I'm not feeling great. I'm going out of town. There's just a lot of things that are happening this week. So I thought this would be a good week to make at least a somewhat shorter video. Watch me say that and this video is going to end up like super long or something. So I'd like to start this video off with a question to you. You don't necessarily need to type anything or respond to me anywhere necessarily. Just kind of think in your head, what is something that you're passionate about? As soon as I asked that question to you, did something immediately kind of just flip on in your brain? Was there an immediate, oh, I'm passionate about X, I'm passionate about Y? Was there something that immediately kind of came to your brain? Or did you need a second to think of something after I asked that question? Was there a long pause? Were you not sure? Were you kind of thinking of interests and if they were hobbies and what you were truly passionate about? What was a passion that you had? The reason I wanted to do this video in particular and why I wrote it down as a topic is because I kind of fall into that later camp. I've asked my friends and other people in my life kind of what they're passionate about or danced around the topic to figure out how they came to that realization they were passionate about something. Because don't get me wrong, I like a lot of things and I have a lot of different interests in different categories, but I don't know if I'm passionate about anything. And you might be thinking, Mitch, didn't you just make a video about things you get irrationally angry about? You seemed pretty passionate in that video about those topics specifically, especially if it was something getting angry over. And what I would say to you is, yeah, I did. But I don't know if that translates to passion. I guess I don't understand where it becomes a passion and like a passionate thing. I don't know what the threshold is. And I mean, if those are the things that I'm passionate about, I definitely don't feel that way towards anything necessarily positive in my life. So that feels like a weird thing to say towards passion, if that makes sense. So I'd like to throw out some things that I have interest in. I'm not really sure if I'm necessarily passionate about these things, but if you know me and you've kind of heard what I've talked about just throughout my life, I'd be curious to know what you think I'm passionate about. Maybe it's something I don't mention. Please feel free to let me know down in the comments or by sending me a message somewhere. I am curious what people think I'm passionate about because I genuinely think that I'm not really passionate about anything. I feel like I have opinions on things, but I'm not like passionate about it, and I don't have like a hobby that's like I'm super passionate about. I have a lot of things I like, but it's just the word passion feels so strong, and I feel like I just don't have that anywhere. But please, if you think I am misjudging myself, please let me know. So I'll talk about this one first. As you know, or maybe you don't, I like to play D&D. I probably started playing D&D about 6 years ago. It was a hobby that I didn't think I was going to like, and when my friends first brought it up, I was probably one of the most heavily opposed because I felt like it was just like way too deep into nerd culture and that we weren't there yet. And boy was that wrong. I love these little clickety clacks and being a dungeon master for my friends. It is such a good time. And with D&D came voice acting. Now, with voice acting, I definitely know it's not like a passion or anything, but I'm just listing off my interests here. I do voices for my characters in the game, but I also have a bunch of equipment set up for me to send in amateur tryouts or tapes or auditions to random little projects on a website called castingcallclub.com. Every once in a while, I'll find a project or a voice that I think I could fit, and I'll send it off. Now, I haven't gotten any roles necessarily, but it is a fun little side project and something that I just occasionally will do just for fun. Now let's go for the other big two kind of hobbies that I have that I think people might say I'm passionate about, and that is, as you can see by the posters behind me, and if you know me at all, anime. I am, again, started watching anime, that would have been in 2015. So I've been watching anime for about 8 years or so now. The entire 8 years that I've watched anime, I have kept a list of everything that I've watched. I've given it a score. I haven't necessarily like typed out a review for everything, but in my head, I have a general score and rating system that I give every single show or movie anime related that I have watched. If you're for some reason interested and you want to kind of know what anime I'm into, I'll leave a link down to my list in the description box below. So let's talk about my next hobby, gaming. Now, gaming is the one that I think that most people would kind of say I'm passionate about. As far back as I can remember, I have loved video games, loved watching them, and loved playing them. I believe that there is some old home videos from the 90s of either me playing or watching video games, my siblings or my parents play video games. And there was always a family computer that I would play games with my dad with, and I would always try to get the newest consoles, and it was just something my entire life. And the reason I feel like I hesitate to say gaming is a passion of mine is because I feel like it's just not that deep. Again, the problem I'm having with the word passion and passionate is like the deepness that I feel like associates itself with that word. I'm not necessarily passionate about gaming. I thoroughly enjoy it. I look forward to playing new games and seeing these universes that people have thought up in their heads. It's very, very, very interesting to me. But I'm not sure if that necessarily relates to passion. Maybe it does, and I just need to kind of realize that. And so if you think that that's true, again, please just let me know. Also, in the future, I'm going to be making separate videos, one for gaming and one for anime. I'll be talking about recommendations that I have, different genres that people can watch if they're not necessarily super into one of them, so people can dip their toes into one of those subjects. And now I'm going to just list off things that I feel like I just have some type of general interest in, but I'm not sure if they're passions or not, and I'm curious what people kind of feel like, what level you need to reach to consider it a passion. So right off the bat, there's food. I love trying new food. It's one of the main reasons I like to travel and go to new places, is just to try these, again, dishes that people have just thought up in their head that are amazing. I love just trying to get the most expensive thing at a, not necessarily an expensive like crazy Michelin star restaurant, I can't afford that, but like going to like these really nice like local places, but just getting the thing that costs the most money that they feel like is worth the highest price tag at their shop. Another thing that I have my hand in is sports. Now, I don't really play that much these days. I do like to go snowboarding every once in a while. I will play competitive sports if invited to go out and participate. Here in Japan, I've even gone to some of the sports clubs to kind of participate with the students. So I've done that, and I also have my hand in fantasy sport. Now, I mainly just do fantasy football, but I am in a lot of fantasy football. I watch podcasts, I try to keep up on every single team, kind of what's happening, and I really like to know what's going on in the NFL to make my fantasy teams the best that they can be. Another interest I have, and a thing that I spend a lot of my time on, which is a website that you're on, YouTube. Now, eventually, I'll probably make a video about my YouTube tastes and kind of who I follow and who I'm subscribed to, kind of talking about how long I've been subscribed to them, how I feel like I've evolved with certain creators. That's another thing that I don't know if I'm passionate about, but it's an interest of mine. I really like keeping up with certain creators. There are creators that I have kept up with for a long time. There are creators that I kept up with for a long time, but then I unsubscribed to because I kind of feel like I grew out of their content. There are people that I newly subscribed to. I consume a lot of YouTube content and I like consuming it, and now I am doing it. I don't know if that's a good idea, but I am. But yeah, those are just some of the things that I'm interested in. Let me know if you think any of those are actually things that I'm passionate about or that I have passion in. Whether you know me as a friend or you're just watching this video for the first time. If I came across as passionate about one of those things while I was talking about it, please let me know so I can kind of try to figure out how to navigate those feelings and understand what passion is. Also, if you'd like, let me know what you answered that question that I asked. What's your passion? What are you passionate about? I'd love to know. Leave it down in those comments down below. Maybe it'll give me something to check out.
And this is Editor Mitch saying, don't forget to subscribe.
But that's going to be it for this week's video, guys. Thank you once again for tuning in to I'm Turning 30. My name's Mitch, and I hope to see you again very, very soon. Later.